like to call to order the Valley Town Board meeting for April 10th, 2024. Would everyone please rise and join us for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
God our Father, as we gather for this meeting, we seek your blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory.
Here.
Councilwoman Spare.
Here.
Councilman Valerio.
Here.
Councilman Slattery.
Here.
Supervisor Dunn.
Here. Other officials and advisors present this evening. To my far right, Town Clerk Jenny Ignatowski. Also to my right, Deputy Town Supervisor Councilman Michael Slattery. My far left, Council for the Town Jared Hurt. At the side table, we have Commissioner of Public Works, Superintendent of Highways David Lindsay, Director of Finance Dan Knapp, and Insurance Counselor Scott Bonnewell. And from my office, Don Forte. Our stenographer is Sandy Hewitt. And in the case of emergency, if you'd please use the exits to the corners of the room. And anyone with a cell phone, if you'd please either turn it off or set it to vibrate, we'd appreciate it. So we are going to start tonight with a presentation. Brent Jensen is here from our auditing group to kind of discuss our 2023 financials. Take it away, Brent. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am Brent Jensen. I'm a partner with EFPR Group. We are your independent auditor for your financial statements. In front of you tonight, you should have two documents from us. One of them is a small 3-page document called the report to the board, and then the actual final financial statements. They went final yesterday. So in the report to the board, there are a number of boilerplate disclosures that we give to you that we let you know about the audit, and if there was an issue in the audit, we would bring it out in that document. I'm not going to go point by point through everything in here. I will touch on a couple of them, but generally you should know that everything in here is boilerplate because there are no significant issues. Along those lines, your significant accounting policies are detailed in Note 1 of the financial statements, and your financial statement does include certain significant estimates, which any financial statement really does. Among the more significant estimates within yours, you have several large liabilities on the government-wide financial statement that are determined by actuaries and could change significantly based on certain assumption changes. Included amongst those are the other post-employment benefits, the length of service award program, and the New York State pension obligation. We had no difficulties encountered in performance of the audit. In fact, I would go so far as to say that, quite frankly, this is basically the model out of our clients of what we want to see from the finance department. You really have an analysis performed for virtually every single account in every fund on a monthly basis throughout the entire year. That is something that is much more of a rarity than I think it necessarily should be. So we really had no adjustments, no issues, nothing to report to you at all in regard to that. And what that means to me is that you're getting financial information throughout the year that you can trust and rely upon as you make decisions.
Do we get a discount for this?
I'll tell you.
I'm sorry, is there a pause or?
I will tell you, your fee is lower than towns that are not performing in the same way.
Okay, you didn't answer my question. You could be a politician.
Yes. You did provide to us a letter of representations to finalize this report yesterday. And as I already mentioned, there are no other matters or reportable items that I have to address with you tonight. Within the financial statement, my plan was just to hit a few of the high points, some of the things that are different this year, and then give you kind of a quick wrap up of what those numbers mean to me from an analysis standpoint. If any of you have any questions at any time, please do jump right in. So I'm going to start us off in the fund financial statements on pages 25 and 26. Although most of our work and most of the disclosures in this financial statement have to do with the government-wide financial statement, the reality is that what you budget based on, what drives this government, is the general fund. So that's why I always want to start off here and tell you how this is performing, what's different year to year, and what it means for you. So overall, your revenues were up in the general fund, and you're at about 12.4 million this year. Your taxes, both property taxes and sales taxes, were really roughly flat year over year. I think there was actually a slight decrease in the sales tax number. So the things that were driving this increase year over year were, first of all, the use of money in property, which is really your interest income. Governments all over have suddenly started to actually make some money on the money they have for the first time in years. It's a trend we've seen really start at the end of last year and carry through this year, and should probably still see it for at least another year or two here. So that's something that's been very helpful, and it offsets some of what we are seeing in terms of the sales tax really starting to flatten out, the mortgage tax going down most places, things like that are trends that we are seeing throughout the state.
So, Brennan, in regards to that, then, when you talk about the sales tax being flat and property tax, then that means that if you have a municipality that does not do its due diligence, does not take care of the taxpayers' dollars that they collect, then they're going to be in trouble. Would that be a accurate analysis?
I would say that's fairly accurate. As I think you all know, the economy has had some significant inflation over the past couple of years. Within a government, you also have contractual obligations to continue to raise salaries year over year, and you have things like health insurance as a major cost that are going up far more than any inflationary trend on average.
So getting back to my point, though, is that those municipalities that don't do their due diligence are going to be in trouble, where you're saying because Chi-Li, the way that we've conducted business, we used the taxpayers' money as if it was our own and took care of the taxpayers.
So what I was going toward is it's very easy to get to as a point where your expense trends outpace your revenue trends, and you've done a good job of making sure that does not happen.
Can you say that one more time, please? I'm sorry.
It's become very easy with all of these expense trends to have that trend of how fast your expenses are growing exceed the trend of how fast your revenue is growing, which creates a long-term problem for governments who have only a limited ability to raise new taxes.
Correct.
You said it was a trend that sales tax revenue is going down, but
I wouldn't
why is it
say going down. I would say flattening out.
flattening? Why is that happening with inflation? You'd think with the cost of things being higher, that sales tax would be increasing.
Honestly,
Because consumer spending is still
Yeah, I
high.
couldn't give you all of the facts behind that. I can tell you that I see the sales tax numbers at a number of towns, a number of school districts, and they are generally starting to flatten. I wouldn't say they've necessarily gone in reverse everywhere, but they are flattening out. I don't know all the consumer data behind that drives it.
Well, is it not likely that we've reached some type of a plateau also with inflation, because the inflation's been up there for a while, likely that we've plateaued to a certain degree. Plus, there's been some question about the sales tax distribution that's come up amongst the supervisors over the past probably 6 to 8 months. And we're still working with the county on trying to understand some of that. So, go ahead, Dan.
Another reason that we saw an initial spike going back 3-4 years ago was the state changing the sales tax rules for internet sales. Internet sales used to not be taxable if you were shipping out of state, and they changed that. So now everywhere you buy online, whether it be Amazon or, whatever you're buying, if you're buying it from New Jersey, wherever, you're paying sales tax on all your internet sales. So that was a huge windfall for everybody across New York State as far as sales tax, that's now being collected, as opposed to when brick and mortar sales are going down, internet sales are going up, and so that was kind of lost sales tax revenue. So that's kind of evened itself out now for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree. That was a major thing about 3 years ago, and there's been probably a little bit of a lag with the enforcement of that too, and trying to get everyone up to speed on that. So I think that also probably caused some of the steep incline over time. But you're not seeing the incline you were seeing for a while. The other major change in your general fund was you did have 2 property sales this year that also increased revenue as a one-time item. On the expenditure side, probably the single biggest change was that your debt service principal was almost $2.5 million, and that was really a choice you made. You had $2 million outstanding in bands last year. You'd been paying $1 million off per year. You actually made the choice to pay off the rest and get ahead of it. So that's really what drove that change. The rest of expenses were really pretty consistent year over year. So all in all, your general fund, in spite of making that choice to pay off $2 million of debt service principal, really where you're only required to pay off $1 million, you still ended up with a positive change in fund balance of about $750,000, and you have a fund balance of almost $16 million right now. That is obviously a very healthy fund balance. If I flip back a couple pages so we look at the balance sheet of the governmental funds, and you compare what you're looking at in terms of your cash and your fund balance to things like your liabilities, you can see it's even more healthy. Your liabilities are only $2.2 million right now, whereas you have cash of $17 million, and current assets of about $18 million. If you took something like a current ratio, which is a common indicator of financial health, you'd be over 9-to-1, which is a extremely high ratio. And even amongst those liabilities, the largest liability that's there, that $1.9 million, is actually really just deferred revenue related to the federal funds that they've given you that you haven't yet spent. So that will convert to revenue for you as you spend it.
And we're in the process of doing that.
Yes.
So, right.
Yes.
So it's not like you're just sitting there, not doing anything. There's plans, it's timing, it's the, bids, manpower, design, and so forth.
Yes. So that has to be obligated by the end of this fiscal year you're now in and spent by the end of the 2026 fiscal year.
Correct.
So overall, your financial health is extremely good. It's allowed you to make decisions such as paying down debt early. It's allowed you to even take the step now that you've actually taken to reduce your tax rate in this coming year right now.
Yeah, which we did that,
Right.
4 out of the, last 4 years, I believe it was, that reduced the tax rate. So,
I think pretty significantly this year.
yes,
if I remember.
yes.
So overall, I think you have sound financial management within that general fund, and everything is going very well. I wouldn't try and change a thing in regards to that. In terms of your government-wide financial statement,
Just let us know what page you're going back to.
yeah, it would be easiest to see on pages 10 and 11 in the management's discussion and analysis, where you have that 2-year picture of it. So as I mentioned before, most of the disclosures in here have to do with items that are long-term items, like your capital assets, the various long-term liabilities and actuarial estimates and things like that. All of those numbers are within this statement here. But the reality is that the most important statement is what we already talked about in that fund side. The major changes from the fund side here, you have capital assets of about $50 million. That's really pretty flat year over year. Your additions that you had this year were roughly the amount of the depreciation that had occurred. So there's no major change in that number. You do have about a $3 million increase in your non-current liabilities. The reality is the majority of those non-current liabilities are those estimated actuarial numbers we talked about. You have about $10 million in that other post-employment benefits. You have another $4.5 million for the length of service award program, pension program, and you have another $3.5 million in the New York State pension. And those things move significantly based on a number of different assumptions that you have no control over ultimately. So that's where most of that change is coming from.
And I think that's the one issue that, when Dan does the budget, with the supervisor and so forth, is the unfunded mandates that may be coming down from, or they do come down from New York State, saying, okay, this is what you need to do, or, this is how we're trying to budget money, or not knowing what the workers' comp insurance, or there's certain, the medical cost of medical. We're at the mercy of them telling us what we have to pay them. And we're just like a consumer as everybody else is. So, and now there's a couple other new things that I heard they're talking about passing down to municipalities as well. And, one of them is we talked briefly about it with the supervisors, the training for the fire department and the stipend that the volunteer fire departments would get. So, so it's just trying to balance that all out as well, and then trying to, having that crystal ball and trying to figure out, what we need.
So, as I was saying, I think everything's going very well from a financial perspective. There's not a lot more that I want to point out here. I would certainly open it up to any questions you might have about anything in the statements or.
There's not a question.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the work that you put into doing this, but I just want to publicly say thank you to Dan for his hard work, because the comment that you made to me before the meeting was, he makes it so easy for us to do this audit. So,
I mean, he makes it
on
how
board standpoint, we greatly appreciate that, Dan.
he makes it how an audit is supposed to go.
Right.
We don't see that enough.
And he's not free to a good home. He's staying here. Dan?
Anything else? Well, Brett, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank your team.
Yep.
Oops, sorry,
For
Mike.
their efforts here, putting this all together for us.
I mean to do that.
Everybody will get a chance to go through some of this over time. But again, thank you. Thank you for the brief amount of time that you actually had to spend here with us, which is good, with Dan's assistance and everything that he does to help put this all together. And I think the board should understand that Dan does a significant
We do.
amount of work into this actual document that saves us money on the work that Brent and his team have to do. So it really is, I've read this entire thing. I read the draft entirely, and I read this entirely, actually just yesterday when we all got it. And I went through some of this, and there's some really remarkable stuff in here. So I'm really pleased with the audit, really pleased with our position and where we stand. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
Dan,
it.
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, moving right along, we do not have any public hearings, so we'll move right on to the public forum. Anyone wishing to speak at the public forum, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will be heard.
Is she coming up, or?
Hi, I'm Michelle Bunch. I'm new to the area, living here in Chilai, and
Address,
I live at
please.
82 Genesee View Trail.
Okay.
And I am a local dog bite victims activist. And I hope you all got a chance to read the information that I shared last time. I also have a new handout that just came out, information from the CDC. Would it be okay if I put
Certainly.
it up?
Jenny?
And my goal is to save people, pets, and farm animals from being mauled and killed through awareness and through strengthening dog law penalties. This handout shows that before 2018, there were an average in the United States about 34 dog on human fatalities. But since 2018, these fatalities have skyrocketed, and now we have about almost 100 a year, and it's growing. So before, when I started becoming an activist around 2018, there was one every 13 days in the United States, but now there's one fatality dog on human fatality every 6 days. And sometimes it's even more than that, so it's growing. So that's an important thing that I think everybody should know. So in the name of government transparency, which I know you ran on that form, I would like to propose for your consideration a dangerous dog map for the town of Chili. This is a map that you can find examples of all over the United States, in towns, cities, and counties. And what I would like it to include is dog bite reports, including the name of the owner of the dogs that are declared dangerous, the address, any citations that were given, the breed of dog, and the level of bite, as well as whether or not the dog was vaccinated. And what would this allow our citizens to do? It would help us, if we know the location of where dangerous dogs live, to take evasive action. For instance, you could choose to carry a weapon. A lot of people carry like a walking stick, which is a taser or other things when you walk your dog, or of course, a lot of times you might want to avoid having your child ride their bike past that particular address. And also just knowing the extent of the problem. Right now, we don't really know as citizens how many dog bites, how many dangerous dogs, and whether that's going up or whether it's going down. So I think it would just be a good way to, because these dangerous dogs, citations are crimes, like any other crimes. It would be nice to know where they were committed, especially if the dog is still residing there. And oftentimes these dangerous dogs do get loose.
30 seconds.
That's how attacks happen. So anyway, thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I will address that when we get through the rest of this part of it here. So next on the agenda is Matt as the supervisor. Just like to thank our highway, DPW, parks crew, and the Parks and Recreation people that spent the spent the past year or more planning for the amazing solar eclipse that we all got to experience on Monday. Still was pretty cool, despite the fact we couldn't see it.
Yeah.
The whole experience was just pretty amazing to watch that darkness come up out us at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and come and go. It was still pretty cool. But our staff put a lot of time in it. I understand we had about 350 people over at the community center, but we had great plans for a lot of good things and a lot of. We had it very, very well planned out, I'll say. So had we had the crowds that were anticipated, we would have been well prepared for it. I guess fortunately, in a way, we didn't have to be prepared for it because everything turned out to run fairly smoothly. But thank you to everybody involved. David, thank you for the attention that your guys gave to all this too. I greatly appreciate that. It was great. I know I'm going to forget.
Dog kennel?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know, it was a long time ago. So this morning, we were able to cut the ribbon on our new dog kennel, our dog shelter that'll be used for dogs that we acquire that are strayed and abandoned and so on and so forth. It's a beautiful, beautiful new facility. Was put together very well, and a lot of people again involved in that. I want to thank all of them for their work putting this all together. But we'll we'll have it probably fully furnished within about a week or so, and be ready to take on some animals as necessary. So, but thank you again for everybody. Thank you to the board for helping to support that, the finances of that. Dan for finding us the money, and David for keeping an eye on it, putting it all together. So it was a great effort. Thank you. Other than
Playground equipment update.
yeah, I can provide you all the updates you want. So the playgrounds, I understand that the Hubbard Park playground is in. The surface, however, is not. There will be a rubber surface that'll be put down, but we have to wait for the weather to change for that. I understand Davis is being worked on now. Am I right on that one, David? That they're putting in that. Same will hold true for that. Weather's going to be dependent on the surface. And their Ballantine is in, and I think we did rubber mulch over at Ballantine. Right, so that's, I think that one's also done, which leaves Memorial, I believe, right? Or no? Upper Davis, Lower Davis, Union Station, I'm sorry. Union Station. So that one, the equipment though is all stored over at the Highway Department and ready to go. So that's good. The fitness court, we got the bids back for that, so we have that on the agenda. We'll discuss that this evening. So that looks like that'll come along well. That equipment's all, we had to move it out of the Archer Road property, and it's sitting in a trailer box that was donated, I understand, by the fire department, correct? So that we could store it in there, and something we could just hook up to our truck and pull it over to the site when needed. So, and again, some of that is going to be weather dependent because the surface there has to be a certain temperature and a consistent temperature in order to put down the mats there.
How long do they think it'll take to put together once it's?
David, 3 days? Yeah.
Oh, quick.
Yeah. So that should all go pretty good. The park should be all back in good shape. Any update on the parking lot on Union Station? When are the plants open? Are they open now?
They are open now. Planning to probably look to pave the binder course down by the end of, weather depending, the end of this month or the next.
Yeah, okay. And just for anybody who sees this, it might be too late, but next week, the town will begin some work on Archer Road. There'll be alternating traffic going down Archer Road from Paul Road to Ballantine Road. That'll be happening next week, replacing a pipe, I understand. And also, anybody that may not have seen it or paid attention, that the bridge, the Widener Bridge on 386 will be closing this year for a brief period while they replace that bridge. So that route will be completely closed. All of those parties have been notified. Anybody that's was major, might have a major impact, fire, EMS, schools, have all been notified. So, but that'll kind of be a major problem for some people commuting back and forth. Sorry, Dan. You can find another route, I'm sure.
Yeah, how long was that project supposed to take? Do you remember?
Be done.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 to 4 months. It should be done before school starts.
Great, thank you.
So with that, and again, we're finalizing some of the Chili Fest plans. Chili Fest will be on Chili Avenue this year. It is not, and I misspoke, it is now going to be Chili Summerfest. It will no longer be named Chili Fest, so it is no longer confusing to people that we're going to have chili for them. That's not going to be, so it'll be up on Chili Avenue. We're making final plans for that. It sounds like it'll be a really a nice event. Again, we'll have the fireworks, bands, parade, so everything should be should
Some headliners.
hopefully go well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just really excited about our headliner this year. We're bringing in from Las Vegas. This is probably the first time in a long time we've brought in a major.
Elvis!
No, it's not Elvis.
He's at Mobile.
But he does some Elvis. He does some Elvis. I would say he's much better at Tim McGraw than he is Elvis, but he does some of that. But the act is Vegas McGraw. He does Tim McGraw covers, and this guy looks like Tim McGraw, sounds like Tim McGraw, and acts like Tim McGraw.
Wow.
And he really is a phenomenal performer. It's probably one of the most entertaining shows I've seen in a long time.
So you like it then?
I did.
All right, just checking.
We couldn't tell.
I know. Yeah.
Well, thank
So
you.
I'm looking forward to that. So thanks for prompting that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's Elvis, not the tip. Nonetheless, so I think that covers it for me. Anybody, anything from this? Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know that this year, the Gates Valley Chambers Golf Tournament will be scheduled for Friday, August 2nd at Jack's Place. It used to be Charlie Country Club. But the reason I'm bringing that up tonight is that this year they have renamed the golf tournament the John Nowicki Memorial Golf Tournament in honor of John Nowicki, who was a longtime member of the town of Chi. He was on the town board and he was on our planning board. I can't even remember how many years. But he started this golf tournament because he was on the board of the Gates Chi Chamber many years ago. And it started out as a battle of the burbs, and where they had towns pitted against each other, and it evolved into the fundraising tournament that it is today, which raises money for both the Chi and Gates libraries. But I just wanted to mention it here today to let everybody know that if anyone's interested in attending, you can go on the the Gates Chi Chamber website and sign up or see me with questions. But in honor of John, we are naming the tournament on his honor.
Anybody else? All right. We do have the approval of minutes from the last meeting. Also, we have several reports that were submitted. Under correspondence, the town of Charlie received notification from Nathaniel Harding, the Highway Department, that he is resigning effective March 29th. Somebody say something? Thought I heard
No,
somebody say
he
something.
sneezed, or deep breath.
Thought I heard somebody say something else. Anyways, so moving on to new business resolution 111, Library Board of Trustees.
Moved.
Second.
Let Mary go first. She's,
I moved. Take a
Mary
second.
moved it.
Take
doesn't
a
matter.
second.
James, Councilwoman Spare moved. Councilman Valerio second.
Yeah, it's okay.
Any questions or comments? And have a roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunn?
Aye, passes 5-0. I would like to introduce you to Aubrey Mowers. I know Caitlin's not here, but Aubrey Mowers is here, and she's the young lady that didn't get to interview with us on one of the other boards and committees, and came in and was gracious enough to spend probably an hour with me
Wow.
and discussing coffee and some other things, which was, I was so impressed. So I was glad you applied for this, and I'm really glad that we could appoint you to this. So
Welcome.
Welcome.
can we do a roll call? We do a roll call.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other, okay, Resolution 112, Training Policy.
Move.
Moved by Councilman DeCory.
Second.
Second by Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunn?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 113, FFRPL Grant.
Moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Spare.
Second.
Second by Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Resolution 114, establish letter of credit for Rose Hill Estates, Section 4. Moved by Councilman Valerio.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 115, amended and restated retail lease agreement for operation of water districts.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, seconded by Councilman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 116, purchase of parks mower.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, seconded by Councilman DeCory. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 117, park security.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Valerio, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 118, purchase of parks utility vehicle.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, seconded by Councilman Valerio. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 119, amendment to New York State snow and ice contract.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DeCory, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments?
Supervisor, more for Dave Lindsay, Superintendent of Highways. Salt prices, do we know any idea where those are going, or they been talking about that at all? I know it's early in the game, but,
For this upcoming year,
Yeah.
no, I don't know those numbers yet. They, over the last probably 5-6 years, there's been not a significant jump, just a steady increase. We've seen
Moderate.
a few dollars a year in the tonnage rate, so.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Any roll call?
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 120, disposal of surplus equipment.
Second.
Moved by Councilman DeCory, second by Councilman Valerio. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 121, ARPA SLFRF funds, Paul Road sidewalk.
Moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilman Spare, second by Councilman Valerio. I do just want to point this out because I got this yesterday. We did get the application finally. Now the town has the county has an
From the county?
application for the grant funding, and it's, Mr. Lindsay has it now. I've partially filled it in. David will have to fill in the rest, but just thought you should be aware of that too. And we are looking for matching funds for the project.
And Supervisor, in regards to that, I know that the funds that it was coming from, they said it would have to be an existing project. We're looking at Monroe County Department of Transportation's program for this year. I'm not sure if it's a draft or if it's solid, but they have Paul Road on there. So I don't know if you saw that or not?
I haven't seen Paul Road on that particular draft yet myself, but I also thought they removed the requirement for an existing project from
They
that
did.
funding.
Yeah.
They did. It doesn't require an existing project anymore.
But per their, what they talked about. But one thing I would look at too is that, if they do that project, and you meet with the highway maintenance manager for that area, but I would look at the gutter section that's up there close to the plaza, because of the condition of it. It is deteriorated and cracked and so forth.
Yeah, I will be doing that. I haven't had that meeting with them yet, though.
Yeah, so, but it was something that I saw that was sent out, so I saw that there was work on there.
Good to know. Good.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 122, authorization to hire Lou Engineers for the preparation of bid documents for the Paul Road concrete sidewalk project. Moved by Councilman Valerio,
Second?
second by
Slattery.
Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 123, notice of intent to serve as lead agency for the Paul Road sidewalk extension.
Move.
Second.
By Councilman DeCory, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments?
I'm just extremely happy that we're moving on this, and it's been a long time, and I think it's great for the people of the Paul Road neighborhoods.
Yeah. If it'll increase safety out there for the people who walk along that stretch, this would be wonderful.
Provide access to our downtown
Yeah.
of Charlotte.
You're right. True.
Any other questions or comments?
Can I just provide a little clarification on that, Supervisor Dunn? The seeker designation, just so you're aware, that's for the CDBG portion of the project that's on from Chila Avenue South to that Greenwood Townhomes.
Gotcha.
The other resolutions are related to the longer stretch of sidewalk, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anything else? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 124, award of bid fitness court installation.
Move.
Moved by Councilman DeCory,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 125, ARPA SLFRF Funds Veterans Memorial.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 126, award bid for Veterans Memorial.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, seconded by Councilman DeCoury. Questions or comments?
Supervisor, not so much on this resolution. I saw that recently, Supervisor, that you were at the community center with Congressman Joe Morelli in awarding some veterans. So I thought that was very honorable, and it was a great opportunity. Just, for them to do it in Chili, and I just think that was it was an awesome for these veterans to be recognized.
Yeah, to expand on it, if I may, Councilman, the reason that he did this here was the group is meeting here at the Chili
Once a month.
Community Center once a month. This particular, I think it's Chapter 23. Hopefully I've got that right. It's Chapter 23, meet here once a month, and the town donates the space to them to be able to use for the veterans to meet for their purposes and going over the things that mean a lot to them and services and goods and things that they can work on. So it was an honor to be there with them and that group of veterans to see the pinning ceremony and be a part of that. So thank you for the recognition. It was really a great thing to be. But Chili has always been good to its veterans, and we will continue to be good to its veterans.
Well, they were good to us.
They were. Absolutely. Any other questions or comments? Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 127, Chili Fire Department active list.
Moved.
By
Second.
Councilman Valerio, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 128, set a public hearing for local law of 2024 to consider the repeal of Chapter 127, Parks and Recreation Committee of the Town Code of the Town of Chili.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery, second by Councilman DeCoury. For the purpose of the public on this, so that they understand what this public hearing is about, we've decided that the Parks and Recreation Committee was not absolutely necessary at this point anymore since this was developed when there was like 2 people working in the recreation department, and they were the ones that created all the programs and helped with a lot of those things. Since then, the recreation department obviously has grown, so the need for this particular committee has really gone away. But some of the people that are on this committee continue to work with us on other special events and things like that, which I greatly appreciate them doing that. But that's what this public hearing will be about and why we're bringing this about at this point.
Basically, you had 2 clerical staff and a department head back in the day. And when you were at an old school, that old little, I'll say school, it was 5 rooms maybe, with a little auditorium. And now when you had the new community center that we have and the number of staff, full-time and part-time, and the number of programs that we have, so it allows us now that they do more of the items, the tasks that the committee used to do. So that's how we got to this point. So it's a duplication of services in a sense. So, and now the recreation department does a great job with the library, with Jeff and his staff, as far as programming and so forth. So you have more hands, participating and working together. And so you no longer need that committee.
In behalf of all of us, I would like to thank those who've served on the Recreation Committee
Absolutely.
over the years, because they did provide a valuable resource to the town. So, and I'm sure that each one of you share in that sense of sentiment.
100%.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCoury.
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare.
Aye.
Councilman Valerio.
Aye.
Councilman Slattery.
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning.
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 129, set a public hearing to consider an increase in the limited income senior citizens exemption.
Second.
Councilman DeCoury, second by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 130, purchase of kitchen range for senior center.
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Slattery,
Second.
second by Councilman DeCory. Any questions or comments?
So I guess the saying goes, you get what you pay for?
We didn't pay for this.
I understand that, but I know who did. Yeah, and you went off bid, low bid?
We don't necessarily go into who bought
Right,
it for us and
right.
how it was
We
acquired.
appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. It served us well for the time that we used it, but it's time.
Yep.
So, yes. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 131, March 20th, 24, abstract. Moved by
Second.
Councilman Valerio, seconded by Councilwoman Spare. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio?
Aye.
Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Resolution 132, April 3rd, 2024, abstract.
Move.
Moved by Councilman DeCory.
Second.
Second by Councilman Slattery. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Councilman DeCory?
Aye.
Councilwoman Spare?
Aye.
Councilman Valerio? Councilman Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Dunning?
Aye, passes 5-0. Before we adjourn, I would like to address the comment in regards to the dog bites. I will look into some of this, okay? And I will seek counsel for some of the other suggestions that you make. Seem to me that we really need to get legal counsel involved with what we can and can't do, or should or shouldn't do. So by all means, we will look into it. No time frame at this point. I won't make any promises there, but I promise you we will at least look into it.
Like I said, I talked to the assistant to the budget person, Sally, I forgot her name. She's going to actually talk to the assessors and
Oh, we're talking about something different, Jeff. I'm talking about the dog bites from the public comments.
Yeah.
I was just,
I'm sorry, you're right behind me.
I was just addressing, okay, I was just addressing
Nothing
the
I
public
bet.
comments. We can talk about that in a minute. So with that, the next meeting of the Charlotte Town Board will be
May 15th.
May 15th. This meeting is adjourned.